You are welcome to the year 2022 budget defense of the House Committee on Information, National Orientation, Ethics and Values on the information sections of the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture under the headship of Lai Mohammed, being the Honorable Minister of Information and Culture, as well as the agencies and departments with particular mandate on information. We recall that the President Muhammadu Buhari made the proposal to the joint sections of the National Assembly on the 7th of October 2021 in obedience to the provisions of the Constitution's call in Section 81 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended. Having collected input from various ministries and agencies with a view to give fiscal policy directions to our dear country for the year 2022. Similarly, the National Assembly, being the largest concentrate of the people representatives, is currently obeying the provisions of the same Constitution in Section 80 with a view to make a people-oriented appropriation law that will meet the yearning and expectation of Nigerians in all categories of our respective calls to the service of our fatherland, which must be done with due diligence and utmost sincerity of purpose. Since 2020 fiscal year, the result for the paradigm shift from the past attitude of the national calls and in line with the provisions of the Fiscal Responsibility Act, both executive and current national assemblies are maintaining the new breadth of the life into the appropriation cycle to the January to December cycle. We immensely to develop, we on this side of the divide believe that this budget regime will contribute immensely to the development of our great country if implementation is done with due diligence. Although the response to my consistent request for better funding of this ministry and related agency, there has been improvement in the amount proposed for our and our agencies in the year 2021 budget and 2022 budget under consideration. When compared with the previous ones, nevertheless, it is pertinent to inform the public that the Ministry of Information and its agencies to be on top of their duty in ensuring proper, effective, and timely dissemination of information on government activities to the populace in a manner that conforms with the global best practice. In terms of modern equipment and training, better funding must be channeled to the ministry. Hence, the need for more and better funding is strongly advocated for us to support the fact that information is power, as a wise saying goes. To this end, it is our belief as people's representative that the Nigerians to be better informed on the activities of the government and for this ministry and agency to diligently deliver on their mandate of showcasing our potential as nations in general and government undertaking to Nigerians and the outside the world in the best content. Every stakeholder in this country must be ready to put their hands on deck to rescue them through an improved budgetary allocation to bring them back to the right perspective for the benefit of Nigeria and Nigerians, because this is the only way we can demystify fake news and hate speech in our system. On the other hand, I call on the ministry departments and agencies under purview of the committee to ensure due process, transparency, and accountability in the utilization of any public fund entrusted in your custody. In perspective, and our oversight will be strategic through it details to achieve the purpose that is expected to achieve. our cause, the only thing that can neutralize force is the truth. Thank you. May God bless this nation.
I also want to thank you once again for always recognizing that the ministry, in particular, and its agencies are always underfunded. It's unfortunate that circumstances have not made it possible for our fortunes to be improved. But clearly, without proper funding of the ministry and its agencies, even the work of the National Assembly would not be appreciated either by those who are governing or those who are benefiting, who want to benefit from the laudable efforts and sacrifices of both arms of government, that is the executive and the legislative arm. But we will continue to ask for better funding, and we will assure Mr. Chairman that our ministry will always be on the right side of due process and transparency in whatever we are giving. Mr. Chairman, sir, I would probably, I believe that we all have copies of the 22 budget defense document, which we made available to every member. If you don't mind, Mr. Chairman and the honorable members, please, I just want to also go to page 13 of the document before you. I think you are fairly familiar with all the preambles and the introductory remarks in pages 1 to 12. So if you don't mind, Mr. Chairman, sir, members, I want to start from page 13, financial performance of the 2021 budget, which I believe is actually the reason why we are here. Mr. Chairman, Deputy Chairman, and all right honorable members, under the 2021 personnel emolument cost, the sum of 4,942,483 naira only was appropriated for the ministry, that is both information and culture sectors, for the payment of staff salaries and allowances for the year. So at the end of September 2021, the sum of 2,839,608,625 naira only had been released for staff salary and allowances from January to September this year. Mr. Chairman, sir, on page 14 now, the overhead appropriation, a total amount of 900,507,003 naira only was appropriated for the year for overhead. The sum of 600,338,002 naira only was released, which represents 67% of the 2021 appropriation for the overhead. And the analysis are in the table below, sir. Total appropriation is 900,507,003 naira. Actual releases so far 600,338,000, and the balance not released is 300,100,000 169,001 naira. And percentage release so far is 63%. So, Chairman, sir, out of the total release of 600 million, 338,002 naira only, indicated above, total expenditures stood at the sum of 594,775,240 naira only, which again is in the box right below. Total actual release is 600,338,002 naira. Total expenditure so far is 594,775,240 naira. This is in Appendix 3. And balance is 5,562,762 naira. I'm at page 15, sir. Out of the sum of 2,209,064,343 naira only that was appropriated for the entire ministry in 2021, the sum, when I say entire ministry, I mean both the information and culture arms of the ministry. The sum of 1,160,232,436 naira only, representing 53% of the total appropriation, was appropriated for capital expenditure for the information sector to undertake 16 projects. Similarly, out of the appropriated sum of 1 billion naira, 160,232,436 naira only, the sum of 674,307,105 naira, representing 58%, have been released for the information sector as indicated in Appendix 4. The sum of 268,496,200 naira only was appropriated to projects that are common to both information and culture sectors, while the sum of 242,293,742 naira, representing 90%, was released to carry out the projects that are common to both information and culture sectors, as indicated in Appendix 5. Internally generated revenue. Mr. Chairman, honorable members, the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture is not a revenue generating agency. Rather, it provides services and propagates government policies and programs. Nonetheless, we've made slight improvement in the collection of internally generated revenue as compared to last year. As of September 2021, we have been able to generate 27,992,397 naira, as you see, as presented below on page 15. What we'll be able to generate is, which we have actually, you can see, is 29,599,406.16 kobo. The above revenue generated, however, has been limited to the consolidated revenue fund, as indicated in Appendix 6. For 2022, we are projecting that we'll be able to raise 38,070,000, made up of the breakdown. Tenders fee, 1,100,000. Rentage of our hall, 4,500,000. Sales of publication, 4,200,000. Federal Tenders Journal, 12,520,000. And federal government press, 15,750,000. Our challenges and constraints, Mr. Chairman, honorable members, are the same. They remain the same. Gross, the funding is simply grossly inadequate. Mr. Chairman, sir, this is my. Can I move on to? I don't know whether I can move on to the 2022 budget. The 2022 budget proposal.
36.
The Appropriation Act, are you doing a selective implementations, or you are doing the general implementations of the budget 2021? Do you adopt the system of selective, or is your budget and it has become an appropriation act? It's already an act. For that 2021, with the percentage release, it is done by the general implementation of the total budget given to you, or a selective one? I think you get my question, have you? Were you able to get the question? Appropriation Act is an act. It's already passed and signed into law. Now, for the implementation by your agency, I'm not asking whether are you adopting a selective implementation or general implementations of the budget in general.
General implementation.
Then so far so good. Can we say the releases? What can we call what is the percentage of releases to your agency, and what is the percentage of the implementation so far? I know you are still implementing the 2021.
My intervention, it would be in the area of the overhead, whose appropriation was 900, and the actual release is about 600, as indicated here, coming to about 67%. Although I continue to sympathize with you and the ministry, as the chairman earlier indicated, on these poultry sums, but out of curiosity, looking at the performance, I need to point you to a few items. International travel and transport so far, I think execution is about 52%. So I was wondering, in this COVID time, that we are hardly even making trips anymore. I don't know how many times we even want to even desire to even make a trip with these restrictions. And we're still spending heavily in that area, up to 52% so far. No, I'm raising those. And then the other point that also bothers my mind is line item on refreshment and meals. The appropriation was 27.9 million. We have spent 18.91 and so far. So we're still wondering who eats the food in the ministry that goes up to 18 million in these few months. Those are the few quick observations. If we had time to look at this document, maybe we would have drawn your attention to a few more things. Thank you very much.
Where Nigerians need to involve in the funding of this ministry. The executive arm of government, honestly, I don't know why the Ministry of Information is being treated in this manner. Seriously underfunded. In fact, I compare the total allocation fund of the ministry to Ministry of States of some state in the south there. I can even see some states even have more budget than the Ministry of Information. So I'm calling on Nigerians, please, to intervene on this matter, because I think I have done my own part to a level that I think there's need for my colleagues also. The National Assembly needs to be involved also. I think there's need for us to make official report to the Speaker on this matter. I'm not even talking of the agencies in this under the ministries. It is unbelievable at this level. There are some agencies that have been allocated 20 million naira for a capital project. So if really we don't need these services of the agency, then we should close them and match the agencies. Underfunding even leads to corruption. So there is need for us to tell the truth to the executive arm of government. There's need to fund information ministry. Information is the power. And if you are underfunding the information ministry, so who will now tell the world the image of this? Who is the image? Who is the mass spoken of the nation? So there's need for us to let the whole world and the president aware of this, what is going on. In the last 2 years, when I studied the budget, even the Ministry of Finance, the funding allocated for their information also is even more than the entire Ministry of Information. So what are we doing with the Ministry of Information? What are we expecting from them? For monitoring budget, works ministry, monitoring alone is more than the entire capital funding of the information ministry. So it is getting to this stage. And I'm calling on the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Federal Government of Nigeria, to please look into this matter. And if you don't need this ministry, we can close them up. That's nothing by the need. It's a policy. It's been created by policy. I know what I'm saying, my brother. I know what I'm saying. Even if you even get funding, appropriatory fund that is not from the executive, they may not even release fund for it. So, Honorable Minister, please, can you please answer the questions asked by the colleagues?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, once again, I can only thank you for your passionate plea. And I hope that this time around your plea will be answered. But I think I also want to please implore you that whatever you can do on your own end too, sir. Sir, information is not what it used to be. 20 years ago, 30 years ago, if a state or federal government had a television and radio, and probably a newspaper, that was all it needed. The people we are dealing with today, they don't read newspapers. They don't even watch television. It's social media. And it's the most expensive and the most, as an unseen enemy. They are there every moment. And until we use the same, we go to the same battlefield with them, there's nothing the government will do that will seem right. Now with fake news today and misinformation, and I've always said it here, that the next world war will be caused by fake news. You can see even a country like the US that used to pride itself on the freedom of the press is now questioning the role of the social media. Their Congress is doing exactly what we are doing now. So I thank you once again for your support, but I think the least you can do for me, Mr. Chairman, is that even the news they are giving us, please return it to us like that way, sir. And then look for more for us. Thank you very much, sir. Now, Mr. Chairman, sir, to answer your question, yes, because of releases I think what we do is we do general implementation, sir. We don't do selective, sir. We do general implementation. On the recurrent, sir, the percentage of the releases is actually 67%, sir. That is the percentage of what has been released for recurrent. The issue of travel, sir. Yes, it's true that there's COVID, and a lot of facts, I don't remember when any of us traveled last. But there are certain statutory, meetings that you have to attend. And it's not even the minister this time around, it's the various, directors. We are members of statutory organizations like the UNWTO, like UNESCO, like G8 and co. And these meetings must go on. Again, sir, the quantum, sir, what it used to take to travel, sir, to London, even if the fares have not gone up, the amount in Naira has gone up, sir. So a year or two ago, sir, $1,000, you could buy it for about just 360 Naira. Today, you need 575,000 Naira to buy $1,000. Plus the prices of this, the airfares have gone up since COVID-19, sir. So this is what will seem to account for the disjointed percentage, sir. And then, sir, even the total allocation is small. That is the problem, sir. Well, sir, on the issue of meals, sir, Mr. Chairman, sir, we have a staff of 2,500 in our ministry, sir. When you look at 18 million naira, sir, it's less than probably 1,000 naira, sir, per person, in terms of even welfare, in terms of meetings, in terms of so really, Mr. Chairman, sir, if you look at it, how we survive is a miracle. We tighten our stomach every time. Our case is not. We're not showing our. This year, according to our cyber, according to the cloth available. And then you see, last year here, sir, 1 billion was yanked off here from our budget, sir, and it was panic. If we ask for 3 billion and you yank off 1 billion, what can we do with 2 billion? And like rightly said, sir, once there's underfunding, it leads to so many complications. It leads to too many complications. I agree with you. Sometimes you just fold your arms. What can you do? What you need to do with 1,000 naira, they give you 200. You can't do it. So, Mr. Chairman, I think the problem is funding. Funding and funding again. The world today revolves around fake news. You all wake up to see fake news about you, about your constituency, about the house. Only 2 days ago, the London Economist wrote a kind of stories that are not true, which we have to respond to. So, Mr. Chairman, sir, I think we, both legislative and executive, must look at information from a different, prism. Thank you, sir.
Archiving what we have as a people, pre-independence, independence, up to this date is a very important function. And to date, a lot of the footages and things we still get are either from one British something somewhere or some images. So I thought I need to ask, how far and how well have we gone and done with the digitization of national records as a ministry?
Just on October 1st, we had an exhibition, and I had to take the Secretary to Government to our office in the Radio House to see the need for urgent digitization of our records. But the danger is that if I need ₦1 million to digitize, and you give me 200,000, what can I do with it, sir? So year in, year out, it's the same thing. We roll it, we roll it. Meanwhile, these documents, we are losing them by the day. Very soon, we'll be going to London, we'll be going to get information pertaining to us. At times I just throw up my hands. That it's as if they don't even understand why some of these are some pictures that we need to preserve for our grandchildren. At times we are unlucky too. There is flood, there is rain, there is termite that eats up some of these valuable records of history. So if we get timely release of the money that we need for this project, then it will not be affected by inflation, it will not be affected by loss of value or interest. And every day, sir, with the dollar galloping every day, whatever you give us, sir, is devalued on a daily basis. Now, when you don't give us on time, you can see the implications, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Mr. We embark on the oversight. But can we quickly go to the 2020 budget defense?
What is being proposed for 2022? Mr. Chairman, Deputy and Honorable, starts with personnel, where we are
proposing the total of 3.9 billion. Overhead, 900,507,000. Capital related to information sector, 1.613,366,465. Capital related to culture sector, 778,6757. Capital common to both information and culture, 645,747,520, making a total of 7,845,669,525. But Mr. Chairman, sir, I want to make a clarification that this is the envelope we are giving. Very important, because if this is not what I submitted, it's very important, because otherwise you say, even if you have, sir, even if you have all of this, sir, it won't help me, sir. So I think I should make that clear, sir. That honestly, well, you see, in areas like personnel and things like that, they are statutory. But when it comes to capital projects in information, it's a different ball game, sir. It's as if we don't even know what we are doing. Sir, advocacy alone, sir, 1.6 billion naira is not enough. And that is what all I have, sir, for the entire information arm of this ministry for over a year. I've studied before. One day, sir, I met my counterpart from China and asked him, what is your budget for information? He said, it's a national security matter. You know, I said, okay, no country, sir, will disclose what he spends on information, sir. Sir, after the most, sir, the chairman was with us in China, sir. He was with us. Sir, the war that you fight every day, every minute, is war on fake news. It's war on disinformation. Even when you are sleeping, they are fighting you. It's true, sir. And no matter what you say you have done, they say we don't want to hear. It's that thing you have left undone that they're interested in. I don't understand. And you see, I know what you all suffer, sir. I know. They've posted all kinds of fake accounts that I'm supposed to have abroad. So much that one day my wife woke me up and said, "Daddy, where is all this money?" And I said, "Which money?" She said, "Every day, read this." I said, "You believe them?" But that's how bad it is, sir. So, honestly, sir, I don't know. Because we are all suffering collectively for this. Because whether you are a member of the House or a minister, you are a Nigerian, you are in the leadership of this country. And whatever is mud is thrown at Nigeria, it rubs off on you too. Thank you very much, sir. The next page, sir, which is page 37.
Personnel.
That's total allocation is 3.9 billion. That's actually what we have with 37 is a small breakdown of personnel allowances and the likes. Page 38 is also breakdown of overhead. The proposal. Dito, I think page 39, sir.
Breakdown capital.
Is the projects.
Breakdown capital.
Yeah, breakdown of the projects, sir. Page 39 too. Just breakdown of the projects you want to do. This is made of all the total that we have just mentioned. But frankly speaking, sir, these figures are just figures that when we are giving an envelope, sir, the best we can do is make the best of a very bad situation and say you want to allocate X amount to this or X amount to that. But that is, and that is why we have this. This is why we have these challenges we face every day. Information is not something that you can guess what is going to happen between now and the end of the day and how you need to react to it. Today, even the average Nigerian does not know the difference between the bandit and the terrorist, a bandit and the Boko Haram. They are both, deadly people, but they are different. And until you get a big understanding of their differences, you will not even get a handle on, understanding why government is what is going. The average bandit is just a criminal. And there's no basis, either religious or ideology or ethnic, for a bandit. We went to Katsina State, the governor told us, he said, we are the same. He said, the bandits and the victims are the same. That we're all Muslims, we're all Hausa Fulani, we have the same culture. So that nobody should deduce any religious understanding, religious differences to banditry. No. And I did not even start today, started in 1891. And these are things that we need money to push out, town hall meetings, advocacy. We try our best, but we're overrun. My prayer honestly is that please don't take one penny from what is not enough. But on the contrary, if you want to help me, add to it. Use your power to add to it. We're all going to benefit from it because most times resolutions are passed by House of Reps, and they want it, to get to everybody. So please, sir, don't touch my. Sir, honestly, sir, because then it means if you touch my budget, then do you really have any more justification for accusing executive for giving me small? The small that they are giving me, you are reducing it. Please, I beg you, add to it.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. And for your information, Honorable Minister for Information, touching or adding to your budget, even if you have any reason for minus and plus, we are not taking it anywhere. There may be reason for maybe a very important and urgent national issues that the National Assembly may feel that it's more important to be included in the budget. And your envelope also will accommodate it. That is all we used to do. We may not take any amount from money from your budget and take it to Ministry of Agriculture. No. It just needs for us to include anything. It will definitely put it in your budget. Honorable colleague, this is the budget. But my calling also, you can see, for the whole Ministry of Information of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, we are talking about 1.6 billion. For the whole Ministry of the Culture for this nation, where we have all this Nigerian culture involved, we have less than $1 billion naira. So what are we pleading? What is our preach? What is our prayer? Even ordinary diversification of economy through this information ministry, Nigeria can generate an enormous employment for the youth. Considering many of the agencies, their mandates, if we are able to make funds available for them, Nigerian youth can be employed directly or indirectly through millions of youth can be employed through Ministry of Information. But this is where we are. My colleagues.
I think I completely agree with you, Mr. Chairman, on this note, because this recurring decimal of abysmal budgetary provisions for the Information Ministry is becoming very disturbing for us as a nation, because when you do 1.6 billion, I don't know, but it doesn't come to anything. Because even information services in some states, will go more than that. How much do you pay for live telecast? For 3 hours. It's similar to what we face here. The library and research budget of the US Congress is more than the entirety of the budget of the Nigerian Congress, of the Nigerian Parliament. Only library and research. So this country must get up and become serious about things that we should be serious about. Information should be treated like defense, because it's actually defense without guns. That's what it does. It defends the country without guns. And we must now rise up to the occasion as a nation and begin to do the things that we need to do that will help our country move forward and do the things that we ought to do. Because every year when we look at this thing, it gives me goose pimples, because the bureaucracy must change its approach from even what comes in and what happens here. Because like Mr. Chairman said, we're not going to go to the moon to find a new thing or take out to another source, but it's based on importance. Coming from the executive, it should reflect what it should be. Because when you look at advocacy and look at the kind of money you're talking about, honestly, it's as if we're not even ready. As if we want to ask people to just sit down in their offices and rove around. If they like, they bring the money. If they like, they work, or they not work. So I think it's important as a country we take this very seriously. And Mr. Chairman, I completely support your position on this, and I want to believe that all Nigerians would support this position, so that at the end of the day, we should be able to change the narrative and begin to fund systems and agencies of government the way they ought to be funded. Pull money to where money should go. Because we sit here and we see where monies go that are not relevant and necessary. Yet the areas that require funding, we're not funding them as a nation. I rest my case. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
It appeared the government itself have not really understand the working of your ministry. I don't know if you have been able to tell them exactly what you do for them to understand that that money may not have been enough for the ministry. So what have you actually done to see that they understand with you that that money allocated to your ministry is nothing to write home about as far as the working of the ministry is concerned? So I am advising that you also do your own part. On our own, we'll also do our own part. Thank you.
Yeah, we have received the budget already. and the committee will look into it. But before we release you, I can see this number 23, the federal government public awareness project or program. Can you?
23?
Okay, page 39. Sorry.
Capital. Advocacy.
Can you give more information about this? Because you will not be there during the consideration.
I think this was, this is, the office is supposed to augment our advocacy. Sir, sorry.
It's meant, sir, to augment our advocacy.
Okay.
Yes, sir. And program. And it is actually the bedrock, sir,
I know.
of our budget, sir. Because without, you see, sir, I asked for 2 billion. After a lot of plea, they gave me 700 million. Sir, I cannot come here and tell you what I go through. Or that. I do my best. I plead, but it's probably my pleas. They are not enough, or they also have challenges. Because it's not. I'm not the only one that will come here to complain about my budget. You know that. But the thing is that mine is probably the most critical. It's mine that. Like the Honorable said, information is war by another name. And we are fighting it every minute, sir. So, and whatever you can do on your side, honestly, sir, I think my first plea to you is that even if you want to, if there's something very important, more important than this one, look for your own money for it. Don't take out of my own. Thank you very much.
We will call on you when there's need during the considerations of the committee.
Thank you very much, sir. This year in particular, sir, I want to rely very much on you, sir.
I will equally, honestly, I will work on an engagement with the Minister of Planning, the budget, DG budget, and your office, so that the committee can meet them and we can discuss the future for this Minister of Information. I know this one is gone already, but if you can achieve the foundation, even for the coming Information Minister, it will be of good records, and definitely, if you can do that, it will be a great achievement for you.
Thank you, sir. But please work also for this minister, so we can get something too. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Can you please take your leave? The